Red light. There we go. That shows that we're live now. So happy all of you who are watching this episode of Get Happier and Healthier Now with my good friend Laura Christine, who is amazing. Her gifts and talents are actually to help bring out the light in others, right? So Wayshower, she's a guide and a mentor to help people make that connection. And it's amazing work. And I'm so excited to be able to have her share some of her gifts and talents and gives you some tools today to help you go forward, regardless of where you are in life, right? Some practical tools to help you manage your emotions and understand your path a little bit more in general. So you can find, I want to say it now and then I'll say it at the end. So beingboundless.com is where you can go to find the first action steps, right, to everything she has to offer. And if it resonates with you, you're going to find that you are more lifted and more vibrant and energetic once you start on that path as well. So that being said, would you please just introduce yourself and tell them anything you'd like them to know?
Sure. Thank you so much, Elle. I am very humbled and honored to be here. I absolutely love connecting with wayshowers like yourself, with people who are here to change the world by living outside the status quo or a little differently, or by some of the wayshowers are in the status quo, but they're like, okay, we're changing things up from within. So I absolutely love these connections. And yeah, as Elle said, I'm Laura Christine, and that's really what I do is I amplify the light in you so that you can see it. I see it and others see it, but it's so much harder to see our own light. So, if we're a star shining, we see, or the sun shining, we see how bright other things are around us. We don't even realize how bright and beautiful we are. So I guess that's what I'd like to say today. Thank you again for having me, Elle.
I love that you said that because it also makes me think of, say, we're the sunshine, right? And we're creating this light and we see other things lit up. And we forget that a lot of that illumination is because of our light, because of us. Others can shine, right? Because we all need each other and we're all like a diamond with these facets. Like diamonds aren't round like a marble. Marbles, no one's got a marble for a ring. It's the facets, the little cuts that make us brilliant and beautiful. So I have already told my group, and I would like for you to elaborate on because we're kind of early into it. When you decide you want to do a program like this, when you say I want to be happier and I want to be healthier, and you take the lid off the trash can when you make that kind of a bold statement, and it may stink and you may not like what's in there, but it's the only way to move forward is to let that light shine in. And so when people are having negative emotions or experiences or whatever because they've claimed happy and healthy, what are some ways for them to deal with that and get through it?
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Elle, because anytime we say we want to be something like happier, healthier, it means we want to change. So you have claimed this desire and the will to change, right? So let's talk about the brain a little bit. I know I love your analogy of the trash can and how all of the stuff, and who knows how long ago the garbage was thrown in there. This could be a gigantic trash can, right? From the time we are in the womb. And let's go with that. It's this trash can, it's our subconscious. And we're programmed from the time we're in the womb to about 7 years old, unconsciously programmed to have the thoughts that we have and the beliefs that we have. So they're these background thoughts. We don't even know they're happening, but they're running the program. Or they're running our lives, they're running the show. So you're saying, okay, I'm ready to change. Well, the only way to change is to change the programming that we weren't even conscious we were getting when we were really little, right? Well, you got to look at it. So you got to take that trash can cover off and you've got to shine your flashlight in there or whatever light, your own light, your brilliance in there. You have to look. And then we see, oh crap, there's a whole bunch of trash in this trash can. It's not empty. I was really hoping it would be empty and I could just, fill it with the new way, but it's not empty.
Yeah.
So what's happening? Let's look at again the brain. So going from the trash can to the brain, the subconscious, these loops, we have neural pathways. Neural pathways are thicker and they're thinner. The thicker ones are the old ones, the ones that were programmed when you were little, the ones that were programmed when you weren't conscious. You were in a hypnotized state. You were in hypnosis. When you're a kid, do you see the kids having tea parties or dinner parties and they pretend to eat the
Mhm.
grass and the sticks and the stuff that they all put together, and then they tell you how amazing it tastes because they're actually tasting it.
Yeah.
So they're in this very programmable, they're in this imaginative state. They're not really having these conscious thoughts, they're having these make believe because they are making what they believe. It's so cool. But then I'm not going to just say they are, we are as children looking around us and we're gathering all this information and it's creating neural pathways in our brain. So if we see our parents not do like the way our parents deal with conflict is how we're going to deal with conflict. The way our mother or father dealt with their heavy emotions is how we're going to deal with our heavy emotions. And it's not because we're consciously trying to be like them, it's because we're programmed that way. So when you're saying, okay, I want a new program, the brain is super, super duper smart. So the brain is going to take the pathway that's thickest because that's the easiest one. If you make a new one,
Right.
you need repetition because you can make a new one. You can do a different thing. You can, instead of eating, we'll just call it, we'll use diet or we'll use like the emotional eating. Instead of emotional eating, you say, no, 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 no. I know today I'm going to just relax, breathe, really feel what this is. And you do that once and it's lovely and you're like, yes. But then, tomorrow comes and you're at that little crossroads and you have this really thick neural pathway over here and this really tiny one over here. And it's just so easy to go back into that one. So that's basically what's happening. And when you're opening up that trash can, you're seeing all those thick neural pathways. Here's the beauty of it. You're seeing it. So now you can do something about it. So just even having that understanding, like, yes, that sucks. Oh
Right.
no, it's full of flies and it smells. But now I know. I didn't know before. Now I know. So now I can do something about it. So what are some of the things you asked, what do we do? Well, first of all, I think understanding that is like a pretty good step toward doing,
Yes.
just having the
Yeah.
understanding. Because then we can look and say, okay, well, I didn't know. We can kind of in a way remind ourselves that it's okay that this all happened because we weren't even conscious of it. But of course, that doesn't mean we're victims. It just means that we're empowered now.
Mhm.
Now I have the power because now I know that this happens. Now I can make a different choice. Journaling is the top number one thing that I do. It just is my favorite thing, but it's not the only thing. So I'll talk about journaling. If you're feeling so you're in that place now where you're just like, I'm overly emotional. I want to eat because whatever it is, if I don't feel loved or I'm angry or I'm just stressed and I don't know where the next paycheck or check is coming from or how I'm going to pay the bill, whatever you're eating for. And again, this is just the example. If it's possible to just say, oh, there's that piece of trash. The lid's off. There is that piece of trash. I see it. I can choose. And when we give ourselves the power to choose, we are truly giving ourselves the power. So if we say, I choose,
Mhm.
grab a notebook and just start writing and don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
Don't care if it makes sense. Don't care if you're grammatically correct. Don't care if you're spelling things right. Don't care if you're dotting I's and crossing T's. Just get your energy out on the paper.
Mhm.
And that's what I would do first. Do you have any follow-up questions? Like, okay, I
No,
think that's where I'm
actually,
at.
so first, it's really important. So the first step is awareness,
Yes.
because until you realize it, you can't shift. No change will ever take place if you're not even aware. So
Mhm.
that's why taking the lid off and shining the light in brings the awareness. And then, it's hard to work on everything at once. Once you start rooting around in there, you might be like, oh, I'm just such a mess. No, you're not. You're not a mess. You're human. And so then the second step is to choose, take control, say, I have the power and I choose, and just start writing out a whole bunch of crazy ideas like, I choose to never bring chips back in the house again. I choose to walk every day after dinner. I choose, just start, brainstorming stuff. And then the third step would then be self evaluation. Say, this is what I learned about myself. These are the things, the action steps I'd like to take. And this is what I think is realistic. Right. So, like say if somebody wants to start taking Zumba and then they go and they hate it, they feel uncoordinated and awkward and it hurts their self-esteem. Well, then you go, okay, well, let's go back to the list. There's a lot of other stuff there. Or you could power through it. You can say, I'm gonna get good at this, So we have so much choice and indecision, not choosing, not acting is also an action. So inaction is also an action. And that's the one I pray that people watch out for, is just
That's
not being brave.
that's a
Um,
really good point. Yeah. And this was perfect timing because my last podcast interview. So I also have the Boundless Soul podcast, shameless plug. I guess maybe I wasn't meant to plug because
no, you should, because I do put some of those in our private group. So yeah,
oh,
tell me about it.
cool. Okay, so the last interview that I had, it'll come out in December, but we were talking about affirmations and
Mhm.
how affirmations, well, first of all, the guy was a hypnotist, so he understands how it's when you're super relaxed like that, the affirmations will work easier. But also, they're not going to work unless you start to actually embody and become
Mhm.
what you're actually saying. So if you're saying, I am perfectly healthy, I am perfectly healthy, I am perfectly healthy, but you're just saying it and you're not doing anything
Mhm.
that person that is perfectly healthy does, that affirmations don't work as well. So what his suggestion was, or is to state the affirmation but follow it with, and therefore I will this. Or I think, you might have even more elevated language, and therefore I am doing this, or I am eating this, or I am running in the mornings, or, using those. I am verbing, like whatever the
Yes.
verb is ing,
Yes.
because then it gives you that, oh yeah, that is what I am, that is who I am. So I love that self-evaluation. What did I learn and then what do I do? And I also liked your point about you go to one Zumba class and you hate it. Look and see, okay, did I hate it because I was just uncomfortable and it was a new thing for me?
Mhm.
How do I feel? Like, did it make me feel okay though? Like the movements, just really kind of dissect it and see what
Mhm.
part of it did you hate? Because there's so many things we can do. You can go to a yoga class instead, or you can try Pilates, or go on YouTube and find a Tabata hip hop dance thing like I do. Or hip hop Tabata, I think is how you say it. There's so many different things you can do, but sometimes it's nice to just give something a few tries before you just throw in the towel and say, no, I'm
Yeah.
not for this. Because the first time we do something, remember those whole neural network things? The
Mm.
brain, a new thing for the brain is like, I don't know. I don't like it. Well, if you try it a couple more times, the brain's going to get more used to it and you're going to be more comfortable with it. So you
Mm.
might just find you love it.
That's such great advice, because as humans, we're hardwired to avoid change. Because
Mm-hmm.
back in the original days of, man and caveman, so to speak, change could kill you, right? Going too far from your cave, trying a fruit you've never seen before, these kinds of things could kill you. So we're actually hardwired to do new things could kill us.
Yeah.
So that's why we're so afraid to try new things. And I like what you said. I think it's really important to really lean in. If we don't like something, to really evaluate it and say, well, what was up with that? What did it teach me about myself? And then sometimes when you get that lesson, then you can go back again with the new knowledge and have a different experience.
Yes, to the
Um,
lean in. Oh my gosh. And this is a big one. This is going to show you. I'm going to have everyone pat themselves on the back for this one, because if you can lean in to the uncomfortable emotions that arise, and instead of think of, okay, how do I process this? You know, this is a negative emotion. Okay, but I'm in charge of my emotions and I can think something different. And this is like all this mental A personality, which is me, kind of stuff going by, and my roosters are agreeing. But if we can actually lean into and just sit, oh my gosh,
it's
and
okay. I
just
like
sit
it.
in that dark, not evil, but the dark as in just this, the underworld, you know, that
Mhm,
place where everything comes from, the
mhm.
womb of this. If we can just be in the womb of this emotion and see, what do you want? Like, what does this want from me? Then
Mhm.
you might find something out about yourself. And the other thing you're going to do when you do that is the mind stops. You're not judging, and you're just in the experience. And when you
Yeah,
can experience something fully, that's actually when it's going to transmute, not when we're trying to say, how can I process this and be done with it? Because, ew, I don't like it. Or I'm better than this. That's my thing. Ugh, I'm better than this. I don't need, I should be over this by now. That's not how you talk to your friend, right? You should just be over that right now. Ew.
right.
You know, you're like,
Yes,
okay, feel it. Cry when you need to cry. Let it out. Let's empty that trash can, right? Can't empty it if you don't embody it a little.
right. Understand why what's in there is in there, how long it's been in there, and how it ended up in there. Because we allowed it. We allowed it. And so recognizing those emotions, learning the lesson, because you and I know in the work that we do that until you've learned the lesson, um, it's just going to keep happening and just be showing up in different forms. Right. And so figuring out what's my role in this. How did I bring this? How did I vibrate this into being? As crazy as it sounds, like even if somebody was in a fender bender and the person hit them, we still had a role in that somehow, for needing drama or a finance issue or whatever. So that's the really deep work that we do when we get into finding our souls and doing our transformational meditation work and that kind of stuff. And so I just want to close with, because this is like, I wish I could shout this from the rooftops about affirmations don't really work. And I like to use that as a conversation starter, because people are like, what? And they carry them around with them on a card, and they don't work for several reasons. And you nailed it. It's like your brain, if you say, okay, I only eat healthy now, your brain goes, who are you talking about? So affirmations don't work. You can say, I only eat healthy now forever, and very little will shift, right? So if you say, I choose to eat healthy now because and you use those action words, the ing words, make it happening, right? And then lastly, you know that you need baby steps, right? So you would just say, maybe, so in my case, when I was doing this, it was, I no longer brought chips home, right? Because potato chips, if the bag's open, the bag's empty. That was my life. And so I found if I did bring them home, I didn't eat them. It was pretty simple, but not bringing them home was a bit of a challenge. It took a while, right, to create that. So the affirmations need to be something that we believe are possible. And so then the follow up, like you said, to the affirmation. So this is what I'm claiming, but how am I going to do this? And very much so, this was what I wanted to say. I digressed on my own self. Avoid saying try. I'm going to try to eat healthier, because try allows your brain to go, well, we tried. We tried. Thanks for that. And the other thing is to say, I will, because I will puts it in the future where you never have to live. So you're saying, I'm choosing, I'm doing, I am, I'm, and that's why the ings make it happening right now. So that was super, super good um, topic that you brought up. So thank you. And we do so much of the same work. We're like two peas in the pod, and we preach to the choir when we get together all the time. And it's really fun.
It's
I love it
it's
so much.
super fun. It's
So
super fun.
just to on your website, beingboundless.com, you said on the homepage there's two things there. Can you remind me what's there already?
I can. So in December, this is really exciting because it's the first
Hmm.
of I can see a growing empire of summits for wayshowers and by wayshowers and for wayshowers. So if you know, are interested in really, well, oh my goodness, they're coming from all directions. Woo, we're celebrating with the roosters today. At beingboundless.com, you can sign up for the Boundless Soul Summit. It's in December 18th and 19th. And the topic for this one is integrating duality to flow forward. So, again, that's how do we, you know, 2020 has brought up so much for all of us. And how do we integrate it? Not change it necessarily, not throw some out, but actually accept it, integrate it into us so that we're actually more whole. And then we can flow forward into 2021 and beyond. So that's the topic, and you can sign up right on the homepage. And then also, if you think you might be a wayshower, and if you're just like, what is that? If you're curious, head over there because in the middle of the page, I have some affirmations that you can download. And those affirmations, again, they only work if you do it right.
Right. Yes.
But people like affirmations, and they're a really good way to see if you resonate with
Right.
this. So this it like Elle was saying, and it's totally true, and I believe it too. It's the first step. If you're resonating with this, like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. Yes, I'm super self-critical. Oh my gosh, yes, I never felt like I fit in. Oh my gosh, yes. So there's about 18 signs that you're a wayshower, and you'll get all of those and affirmations to help you relax into a different perception of the challenges that you've had as a wayshower, because we're not here to fit in. We're here to change the world. It's challenging, but it's really powerful
Exactly.
too. So you can download that there too.
All right, cool. And that so if someone wanted to find your podcast, so it's Being Boundless, and then it's in a lot of places, right? It's on a lot of platforms, isn't it?
Yeah, you can
Pretty
find it on
easy.
Apple, Spotify,
So I
Stitcher,
thought,
all of them. But you can also find it on the blog at beingboundless.com. So if you go to beingboundless.com, you can do
okay.
/blog, or you can, there's a, in the menu, you can go to podcast and you'll find all the episode, well, all the recent episodes. So
Yeah, no, you have amazing, amazing guests on there. Um,
including you. Yeah, I've had the most amazing people like ever on my podcast. So it lights me up for
yeah,
sure.
I can imagine like this time with us here now. So I appreciate that you were able to fit me in so that I can share these ideas with the group. Because I don't want to just be coming at everybody like I'm the coach and this is what you should be doing, right? I don't want people to feel that they should be shooting all over themselves. My dream would be that people can take what resonates and from a lot of different resources, all valid and valuable, and then create create their own reality, right, to make that shift. So appreciate you being here and adding more value to the opportunities for people to claim their stuff and move on. And thank
Hey,
you,
we're human, you know?
thank for asking about the journal because it's part of, they're all supposed to have a journal. And so
Nice.
if you're not writing in it already, everybody, you just got your first call to do so.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is then you're writing the thoughts out of your head so you can separate from them a little bit. Otherwise, if something is a part of you, you don't really want to hear it. You're not going to see it as well. But if you put it out on paper, it's a different it's like a different person. Then you can see it more like a different person. It's a pretty cool perspective shift.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that, I say namaste and aloha, my dear. And
Namaste and aloha.
thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all again soon.
Hi, thank you.